Hello everybody, today I'll be showing you how to use lightsabers in stop motions, whether that being the ignitions, the lightsaber smears, or just upgrading your lightsaber hilt in general to be more accurate to the movies, shows, etc. Let's get started. So to start, we're going to start with the ignitions. So here we have Anakin and Yoda as my subjects, and so they're going to teach us how to ignite the lightsaber. Well, I'm going to teach you technically, but anyways, I'm going to show you the whole thing first, and then I'll go step by step onto what pieces you need to like boom, 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 boom. But it takes about 5 steps, and see if you can spot them. Did you catch that? Now to show you in more in-depth detail. So to begin, you obviously start without the blades, and you first start with a simple piece that is used everywhere, pretty much a stud. Just find the stud that is the same color as the lightsaber blade, so translucent blue, translucent green, and start with that as your first frame. Well, actually no, the first frame should be you without the stud, and then you go on to transition to this. So this is technically the second step. So you put that there. Also, don't mind the background sound, that's just the upstairs microwave. So you start with stud as your first frame, and just take a picture of that. There's your first frame, or second frame. Now, after that, you remove the stud and replace it with another piece. Now, this next piece could technically vary. So what I usually use is a translucent head piece for the second step, third step, but in some cases it could be different, such as in Yoda's case, I don't have a translucent green headpiece, so I use this piece, which is found mostly like on headlights of cars and stuff. But you could also technically use stuff like diamonds, or a piece like this. This is like a blue flame piece from a Mandalorian set. And yeah, just be creative. Just go for a minimum size of around this head piece for the third step. Oh yeah, I forgot to put that there. Okay, so yeah, there's the third step. Now you take the picture of that and then remove that to replace with another piece. That would be the fourth step, which I usually use is this. It is a translucent blue circular one by one brick, and just 2 studs on top of that. Simply put that there. Compared to the head piece, it's just 2 studs bigger, because before we had just, yeah, it's just about like just a little bit higher, but not too high, you know, it's just about the right amount. So yeah, for Yoda's I use just about the same, just slanted, because I don't have another one of these for him, but it could definitely vary. Another option would be using wait, let me place this here. Another option would be using this piece. This is from Nexonites. It's from Aaron's bow, I believe. It's like a projectile that shoots out. But you could technically maybe use that. I haven't really tried that much, but it works. And yeah, this would be the fourth step, I believe. Take a picture of that. And then replace it for the last piece. Is pretty obvious. That's being the lightsaber blade. Same color, same blade. Place it there. Place the blue one. And boom. There you have your lightsaber ignition. Simple as that. For some cases, such as Darth Maul, you just do the same thing, just double-sided. For him, though, I usually, for his ignition, since I only have one red headpiece for his ignition, I would usually do it one side at a time. So I'd start stud here, or take a picture, stud here, take a picture, move that stud here, and replace this stud with the second or the third step. And so this one would be extended one frame higher than this one, but it'll still look fine because that's how his ignition usually is anyways. So they don't go out at the same time, but you can still do that if you have like another option for that. But that's just what I do. And another exception is like for Kylo Ren, of course. His ignition is different because, well, I mean, it's the same. But what I would do is for like his blade, you would, after you get to this step, step 5, you would add a 6th step, which is where you put this instead of, yeah. So it would just be red blade for step 5, and then next frame would be this for step 6. And that would be his ignition. And that is all for the ignition side. Now moving on to the lightsaber smears. Okay, so for the lightsaber smears, I'm going to first show you, like before, the smears first, and then we will move on to the step-by-step process. So let's start. Wow, that seemed like a lot, right? Well, it actually isn't that much. So, to start, so you obviously start with the blade first. You take a photo of that as your first starting point, first step. And the main point is that you need this. So to build this, you would need about 5 studs starting on the bottom, and then you would build up with a 1x2 translucent 1x2 of the same color. So you put the stud under that. Next, you would then put a clear 1x1, and then another 2 studs right on top of that, another 1x2, and repeat the same for this. So 2 of these just with a stud on the bottom with the first one. And that's how you build the blur for the red one, at least. The black one is the same. It's just I changed the 1x2s with these rounded 1x2s because it seemed more, just wanted to try something different, you know, with the Darksaber being a bit different than the normal lightsaber. So if it were blue, you would obviously use a blue blur, like this. If it were green, you would do the same, except for me, since I don't have a 1x2 for green, I used this. So instead of 1x2 green, I used yellow because that's the closest color, or you could just use 1x2 of clear. But essentially, you use the colors that are closest to your lightsaber color, like these 4. So start with those. You build this, and to start, well, I'm not going to use Vader for this because his arm was loose for the whole thing, and it's not really holding up too well. But I'll use Mando as an example for this. So you'd obviously start with this. Next, you would replace the blade and place this in the direction you want it to swing. If you're swinging that way, you want it to go this direction. If you're swinging that way, you want it to go that direction. Easy enough. So to go to the right, you would place here, and the next shot, you would just move this just a little bit. So it used to be here, now it's here, because the blade is moving to that direction. And so that'd be the next shot you take. Do the same thing, just move a little bit more, just about there. Take another shot, just about there. Do the same, so on, till you want it to stop at a point. Like, let's say you just want it to move it, zoo, zoo. So you just keep going, and then, well, don't do it too close though, because you want it to make it spaced out so that it's moving, looks like it's moving faster than it is. But if you do it way too close, like take a shot here and then just take a shot there, it wouldn't work because it would just look like it's a solid object. But with the spaces, it looks like it's actually moving with fluidity like a normal lightsaber would in actual Star Wars. And so you do the spaces, and then for the last space from transition from this to the blade, so you take a picture of this part, and then next step, you'd remove this and place the blade there, and it looks like it moved from here to here at a really fast pace. And you do the same thing to get it back. You just replace this with the blade smear. And yeah, you can use this a lot in action scenes mostly, and in tests, whatever it is you want for stop motions. But yeah, it really varies what you can do with this. You can even be more creative and add more length to this perhaps, if you choose to, for like while they're running or something. And you can also use it for lightsaber clashes, many things like that. But what I also really like to do is, let me get the green one real quick. So what I would do, sometimes I choose to do this with certain stop motions, but for Yoda's case, it will work because his lightsaber is green, and I have a UV light, so what it looks like in the dark would be like this. So it's a laser pointer I have, and it's a UV laser pointer, and it really works with green. Of course you see the laser in the background, but if I move it away, it looks like it's the lightsaber is glowing on its own pretty much. And so you can use that for the blade thing as well, by just doing that. It looks like it's an actual lightsaber moving, and in stop motion it looks even cooler. And that's how it would look like. It's really cool. I would recommend you getting one if possible. I mean, this was from like a glasses thing, zenny.com, but yeah. And now we move on to the final section, which will be upgrading lightsaber hilts. So obviously Lego Star Wars is known for its biggest piece ever used, which is, or not the biggest piece, but like the most common piece, which is this piece right here, the lightsaber hilt. Normal piece, it's fine, it does what it does, you know, not much detail, just normal lightsaber hilt. And pretty much every Jedi, Sith character has the same piece used for every lightsaber, except for maybe Ezra, of course. But they, you know, with Lego, there's endless possibilities, pretty much. And so you can just make your own lightsaber hilt. Why not? So instead of this, why don't we give Kanan his more accurate lightsaber? This is what it's supposed to look like. So why don't we give him an accurate one, like this? Though the blade hilt is a bit dull, but it's more accurate to what it looks like in the actual show. Same with, let's say, Darth Maul. Why not change this blade to this blade? Just added 2 studs with holes in them to make it look more accurate to what it looks like. Kylo Ren's was a bit tough, but this one looks kind of weird. But instead of this, you'd go for something like this. It's a bit much, considering the size is not accurate. And Lego did a good job with his blades. I wouldn't have thought of it any other way, really. Like, they did a good job with this. And it's probably better than that, too. Because that's just, like, big and clunky. But you can make your own lightsaber blades and make them more accurate. Like this, even though, yes, it does increase the size a bit, it isn't by much. Like, it's just about a little bit taller. And it looks cooler. Same with the Darth Maul's lightsaber. It didn't really increase much because the holes are in the hole. But obviously for Kylo Ren's, it's way more extended. But yeah, you should definitely consider using your own lightsaber blade pieces for the hilts. You can use a bunch of different pieces to make hilts too. All of these, obviously the Inquisitor blades, you can just add, like, let's say, what if you add black studs to the ends to make it look even cooler? From going from a normal Inquisitor blade to going into something more exquisite, like this. Simply adding these 2 studs makes it look a bit cooler. And so you should definitely consider just making your own lightsaber blades. Be creative. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and God bless.